Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. So today's video is going to be a little different. Of course, the NBA trade deadline was yesterday. If you didn't know, we streamed live after the deadline. I recapped all the trades, all the stuff like that. And so this video is going to be kind of just a stream highlight of yesterday's stream, where I talked about all the trades, kind of me recapping just the big moments of the trade. If you want to watch the full 1 hour long video where I went a lot more in depth on trades, talked about the buyout market, teams that didn't make moves, and yeah, just chill, hung out for an hour, all this stuff like that. You can go back on the channel. The VOD is still up. You can watch it. But yeah, this is just going to be a little bit of a stream highlight video where I'm going to talk about all the big trades that happened. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. We have that a lot. We're going to be streaming a lot more around here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's get right into it. Right off the bat, we didn't get really any big blockbuster moves, but I said it in my trade deadline video I put up yesterday. If you missed that, go back and watch it. But I said that in my trade deadline video. I was like, I'm not really expecting a whole lot of big trades. Like last year, we got kind of spoiled. We got KD, Kyrie. I can't even think of who else off the top of my head, but we just got so many big trades and stuff like that in the past couple of years. We've gotten like star trades and all this stuff. And at this point, this year, looking at how the market was, like the big star was Pascal. And Pascal already left. He got traded like a month ago, which is crazy to think that's already been a month. And so it's like kind of like, you know, I was coming into this deadline not expecting superstar, even all-star names to be traded. The only guy on the list was DeJounte Murray, really, and that didn't happen. We're going to get more into that in a couple minutes. But yeah, I was expecting a lot more, you know, role player trades, like around the edges trades, teams that are like playoff teams that maybe need one more little role player bench thing off the bench to come in and do something. I expected that, and we did get a lot of that today. Those are most of the bigger moves, were kind of good teams making little around the edge trades, you know, for the playoff run. So Xavier Tillman got traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for a 2027 second round pick via Atlanta, a 2030 second round pick via Dallas, and Lamar Stevens eventually was added in to this trade. Now Xavier Tillman, you know, he's not a guy that, you know, he's gonna come in and do right things for Boston. Boston didn't really have a lot of big man depth. He's a big man that's gonna come in and do the dirty work. Again, like I said, you know, comes in, get the extra offensive rebounds, gets the extra possessions, you know, scoring side sometimes. He can even come out and hit the three. Now, is he elite at it? Absolutely not. I would have let him shoot that three, but he can do it. You know, he does dirty work, little things, just something to bolster the depth of the Celtics, which is really the moves that really only moves they can make, because they can't really make any big moves. Grizzlies just keep getting on second round picks. We've seen it in today's trade they made, and the other trade they made with Steven Adams last week. They're just trying to really acquire some draft capital and clear up some space, you know, especially with this kind of being a dud year, in a sense of like Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, like not Jaren Jackson, but Marcus Smart. Everyone is out. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. So it's just like, you know what, get rid of some contracts, you know, get some second round picks, some cap flexibility, so maybe in the offseason we can go make a move for Mikal Bridges or something like that, just saying. And then another trade that happened that I was a big fan of was between the Timberwolves and the Pistons. The Timberwolves are getting Monte Morris from the Detroit Pistons in exchange for Shake Milton, Troy Brown, and a 2030 second round pick. And yeah, he just goes in there, helps Minnesota, you know, kind of a more inexperienced team, especially with Mike Conley. Mike Conley's missed a couple of games this year. You know, Mike Conley hasn't played. They haven't looked great organized wise, and even the last couple of games, we see that one of their biggest problems is the fourth quarter and kind of getting easy buckets. Their offense kind of gets stagnant at some points. Their defense is amazing, best defense in the NBA, but it's just their offense kind of gets a little bit just like stagnant. It gets to like, all right, Ant, here, take a contested mid-range jumper. Here, Cat, take a three or drive to the basket, and it's not really a lot of flow when Mike Conley's not out there. So they get a guy in Monte Morris that can still bring flow, get everybody else involved in the game, a high IQ point guard, and give it up Shake Milton, Troy Brown, who weren't really any part of the rotation, even though they're signed this offseason, potentially could be something, but that just never worked out. You know, so both those guys go to Detroit now. Sorry. Pacers are trading Buddy Hield to the Philadelphia 76ers for Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. This is the first trade to kind of start everything off. You know, Buddy Hield, really good player, obviously one of the elite three-point shooters we've seen in the last couple of years, but we knew before the season he was going to get traded because contract extensions talks between them and the Indiana Pacers didn't really flow. You know, the Pacers have a lot of guys they're going to have to pay eventually. You know, and Pascal's going to get paid, even though they didn't know they were going to get Pascal before the season. But it was just, you know, he's 31 years old, Buddy Hield. And it's like, do we really want to pay him a lot of money to be a part of this future when we have young pieces like Tyrese Halliburton, and then you add on Pascal, but then you also got guys like Andrew Nembhard and Bennedict Mathurin that are going to be up for contracts pretty soon in like another year or two. So it's going to be like, why pigeonhole ourselves with giving Buddy Hield his money? Because Buddy Hield deserves some money. I mean, he does. The NBA right now is, if you can shoot threes and you hit threes consistently, you're going to get minutes. And Buddy Hield is one of the elite when it comes to, I mean, I've always got Steph, Dame, Trae Young, obviously. But in terms of non-star players, just role players that can shoot the three, Buddy Hield can shoot that three. You know, he's very valuable, and a lot of teams will want him. And Indiana, even though he fit really well with the team, obviously, with the way they run up and down the court and just shoot a lot of shots, Buddy Hield fit perfectly in that. But just money reasons, you know, he goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. You know, when he does, or if he does, re-sign with Philly, which would be a good chance. I would love to see him in Joel Embiid with Tyrese Maxey, the way Joel has kind of been playing this season. You know, it's kind of been like, you know, getting some shooting around him. That's what they want. They want shooters around him. And Buddy Hield is one of the best at that. But it's like, do we really want to go all in on Joel Embiid right now? You know, when we don't know when Joel Embiid's going to be playing the rest of the season, if he's ever going to come back at all. But then I think about it more. I'm like, you know what? They're not really giving up anything of value anyway. So go ahead and do it. You know, and if you re-sign Buddy Hield this offseason, that's great. Because he's going to demand a contract, but he's not going to demand max contract money because you still have to pay Tyrese Maxey too. And they're still going to have a lot more cap flexibility for this offseason where maybe they can go out and get a big name like a Paul George or something like that. I was very confused by this next trade. This is probably the most confusing trade of like the deadline. It was between the Toronto Raptors and the Utah Jazz. It was basically the Toronto Raptors are trading Kira Lewis Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and a 2024 first-round pick to the Utah Jazz for Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji. I've been thinking the entire day about why the Raptors would do this trade. Giving up a first-round pick for Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji. Kelly Olynyk, very solid player. Like, I'm about to pull it up right now. Like, Kelly Olynyk, don't get me wrong. Anything I say about Kelly Olynyk right now, it's not meant toward disrespect or anything like that, because I think Kelly Olynyk is a really good NBA player. 8, 5, and 4. The numbers don't look crazy, but he's a consistently good, stretch big, you know, that can handle the ball, pass the ball well, high IQ big man, you know. And a lot of teams were interested in him. Teams like the Heat, I think the Sixers, stuff like that. He's really good on a playoff team. But, and Ochai Agbaji, I've been a fan of Ochai Agbaji. I liked him at Kansas. He won a championship there. I believe that he can be a really solid 3-and-D player in the future. But why are we giving up a first-round pick for Kelly Olynyk, who's 32 years old, and was going to be a free agent after this summer? Because I read also that the Raptors were really going to go after him in free agency. You could have got him in free agency. No one was paying Kelly Olynyk crazy money. You could have outbid teams to get Kelly Olynyk if you really wanted him. And then Ochai Agbaji, I think he's going to be a solid player. Worth a first-round pick, though? No. Like, he was kind of losing his spot in the rotation to the Utah Jazz when they're getting hot. And now he's going to be on his third team, and he hasn't even played 2 years in the NBA yet. He was in Cleveland, Utah, now he's in Toronto. But the Raptors, I guess, are just trying to build Team Canada. You know, they brought RJ back. They're going to get Kelly Olynyk. Like, Toronto's just trying to build the FIBA team over there, I guess. That's what they're doing. Because I don't really understand giving up the first-round pick. For the Jazz side, we got a first-round pick, even though it is a really complicated pick. Like, looking at the protections and stuff and where it comes from, I can't even process it in my mind. It's a really weird kind of trade, or a weird pick. It's been around, like, everywhere. But if I'm the Jazz, Danny Ainge, I got a first-round pick for Kelly Olynyk. I'll take it. I will take that every day of the week, even though the Jazz have been playing really good recently. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league. They've jumped all the way up to a play-in team randomly. Them and the Lakers are kind of battling for the 9 and 10, which who would have thought that coming into the season? But it's kind of like, well, I don't understand it for Toronto still. Even though the Jazz, the OKC Thunder, and the Charlotte Hornets made a trade here. Charlotte Hornets are trading Gordon Hayward to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Davis Bertans, Trey Mann, Vasily Micic, and 2 second-round picks. Gordon Hayward finally leaves Charlotte, gets to OKC, gets to a really nice young team. Now, Gordon Hayward, we only associate him right now with injuries. He's only played in 25 games this year. But, I mean, he's still a very solid basketball player. I mean, he still has moments where it's like he brings a lot of veteran leadership, especially to an OKC Thunder team that has not had a lot of playoff experience. It doesn't have a lot of vets on the team. Like, the vet over there is what? Kenrich Williams, you know? So, Gordon Hayward gets to go there. He's going to be a part of the team, too. A backup forward, you know, get a little more size, get a little more shooting. Defensively, he's all right. You know, just getting an adult, getting a leader, a veteran in the locker room that could really help. You know, I like this for OKC, especially if they're not really giving up so much. You know what I mean? Hold on, I just kicked the heck out of my desk. But they're not really giving up a whole lot, even though on paper maybe it looks like a lot. But Davis Bertans, when was the last time we seen Davis Bertans play? Yeah, he was just money sitting on the bench. But Tre Mann, I'm really excited with this trade for Tre Mann. Tre Mann was a first-round pick a couple years ago out of Florida. I was a big fan of him ever since he came on as a rookie. His rookie year was his best year. Like, you look at his numbers his rookie year. Like, he had a big rookie year. Like, he averaged 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1.5 assists per game. Shot 39. Shooting was not great, but he has some big moments in that. And then last year he was playing, then kind of fell out of the rotation later. This year he's only played in 13 games, only playing 9 minutes per game. He was the 18th overall pick. He is really electric. He can come out and he's got game. We saw it in this summer league this year too. He's still got a lot of game, and he's still only 23 years old, and he's just not really getting opportunity over there in OKC. You know, especially with Shea being an MVP, Josh Giddey, Kaysen Wallace the rookie, the emergence of Isaiah Joe. It's like, where is Tre Mann really gonna fit in that? Well, like, when is he ever gonna get to play? You know, only unless injuries happen. You know, but so them sending Tre Mann to Charlotte, where who's really gonna, you know, yeah, Ish Smith, LaMelo when he comes back, but after that, who's really, you know, talent? Charlotte just lacks talent, and Tre Mann has talent, and so Charlotte being able to get Tre Mann, I think that's a W for them. He's 23 years old. He's a guy that can come out and be explosive, be fun for them, have some talent, have some big games, and I'm expecting him to come out and show out in Charlotte. I think he's got a great opportunity right now. So honestly, I'm really happy for Tre Mann in this trade, for him to get to Charlotte and get to be able to go to a place that he actually can play. So let's get into Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley has been traded, and he broke his own news via the Pat Bev podcast. Shout out to Pat Bev of the podcast. They literally tweeted out, like, Pat Bev is a Milwaukee Buck. It's just randomly. And I was like, what? Like, that was hilarious to me. But he broke his own news. He's going to Milwaukee Bucks for Cameron Payne in a 2027 second-round pick. Pat Bev's been playing pretty solid this year, especially recently, of course, with Joel Embiid not being able to play. He stepped up and had a bigger role, you know, but now he gets to go to Milwaukee, a team that we know defense, especially at the guard position, they like a whole lot. Damian Lillard, Malik Beasley, defense, nah. And now they get Patrick Beverley. He's known for defense, hard work, gritty. They don't really have a lot of players like that. Like hardcore is crazy. The kind of hard-working, gritty, you know, get up in other people, defense, hustle. They don't really have that, especially at the guard position, you know. So getting Pat Bev there, I like it. Him and Dame, of course, they've had some things in the past couple of years that have been said against each other, but now they're going to have to suck it up, be teammates, and I think they're going to be able to do it. Now let's get into it. Let's get into the trade. The trade, probably of this trade deadline, is between the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball. The Detroit Pistons were kind of like the center of everything in the trade deadline. I think everything that was going on in the trade deadline, Detroit was in it somehow. Whether it was one of their picks getting traded or they were kind of making everything happen. So shout out to Detroit. They can't play basketball, but they can definitely make some moves happen. And they made a big move happen with the New York Knicks. The full trade is the Detroit Pistons are trading Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic to the New York Knicks in exchange for Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Ryan Arcidiacono, and 2 second-round picks. Big move by the New York Knicks. They get Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic. Bojan Bogdanovic, obviously, he's been really good, especially when he's come to Detroit. Looking at some of his numbers, you know, he's a really good player, obviously. Averaged about 20 points per game this season. Last year, he had a career averaging over 21.5 points per game while shooting 40% from the field, 41% from three. This year, kind of the same. He missed the start of the season, obviously. Another guy averaging 23, 2, 46%, 41% from three. Marksman, big wing that can score, do that stuff. And of course, a lot of teams are interested. A lot of teams are interested in Bojan Bogdanovic for the past 2 seasons, and now he finally gets moved to the New York Knicks, adding some more shooting, spacing, another 15, 20 points per game if they need him to. Alec Burks, averaging 12 points per game this season, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, or 2 rebounds and an assist. He used to play for the Knicks for 2 years. He goes back to New York. I love Alec Burks, man. Just a really, really solid basketball player. You know what I mean? Just a guy that's going to come out here, do what he has to do, doesn't do too much, handles the ball, shoots the 3-ball well, defends well, can be the point guard, shooting guard, small forward. He just does it all. Really, really good role player. And the Knicks get him. The Knicks are loaded right now, man. They do have to give up Quentin Grimes, which is unfortunate, because I really like Quentin Grimes. You know, Quentin Grimes, the first 2 years, they got him late in the first round. He's had first 2 years. I mean, he was a starter last year. And this year, unfortunately, lost a spot. Not having a great season. Yeah, only averaging 7 points per game, 2 rebounds and assists. The shooting numbers are not good. 39% from the field, 36% from three, 70% from the free throw line. Yeah, just not having a good season at all, which sucks because, I was a big fan of Quentin Grimes. Loved him in New York. But, unfortunately, that's how things went. And he's getting sent to Detroit, which is not bad for Detroit. They're getting a young guy that can develop as a shooter, and maybe even more, because in New York he was, specifically just shoot a 3. But if you know Quentin Grimes, he's not really used to that. He was a top 10 player coming out of high school, went to Kansas, then transferred to Houston, was a big part of their Final Four run a couple years ago, and he was a bucket getter. He wasn't just stand behind the line and shoot 7, 8 threes. He was more, I could shoot threes, but I could also get buckets. But in New York, the way his situation ended up, with Brunson and Randall and all the stuff, he kind of turned into a spot up. Just if you're gonna take 9, he's gonna take 9 shots. 8 of those 9 are gonna be threes. Maybe 9 of those 9 are gonna be 3-pointers. But now he gets to go to Detroit, where of course they're gonna want him to shoot a lot. But maybe he can spread his wings a little more and show he's a little more. I'm excited for Quentin Grimes to kind of similar to Trey Mann, what I was saying earlier with him going to Charlotte. Kind of Quentin Grimes be able to kind of spread his wings a little more, have a little more opportunity, and show, hey, I'm actually good. I can do more than just stand behind the 3-point line. I can go get buckets too. The Knicks roster right now is loaded, man. So, thinking about fully healthy, because right now they're not fully healthy. I think tonight they're only going to have 7 players active, so that's going to be something. But, so, thinking of their fully healthy lineup, you got Jalen Brunson at the 1. Do you keep Donte DiVincenzo in the starting lineup as a 2? Do you put Alec Burks in? Do you even... I saw someone on Twitter saying go big and put Bojan at the 2. I don't know if they're going to do that defensively, but Donte DiVincenzo's been having an insane season. So him at the 2. Then you have OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Mitch Robinson, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back this season or not. This has been speculation. And then off the bench, you got Alec Burks, you got Josh Hart, Bojan Bogdanovic, you got Precious Achiuwa, who's been very solid. You got... am I missing anybody? Miles McBride, who I really liked how he's been playing so far in his new role with IQ gone. I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. I really hope I'm not forgetting anybody that's actually part of the rotation, obviously. But that's a team, man. That's a team in the East. That is a team. Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks, because I feel like the Dallas Mavericks are a big winner at this NBA trade deadline. I love what the Mavericks have been doing this trade deadline. So the Hornets are trading PJ Washington's 2 second-round picks to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a 2027 first-round pick. I love this trade for the Dallas Mavericks. This is exactly what the Mavericks have been looking for. The last couple of days, they've been looking for a bigger wing that can also help scoring. I thought Kyle Kuzma potentially, but after a couple of days, we saw that Wizards aren't going to trade Kyle Kuzma. Who's the next on the market? I don't really know. But PJ Washington, I really think PJ Washington's a really good player. 13 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Coming off a year last year, we averaged 15, 4 and 2, 32% from 3. This year is not great. But look at him recently as well. His last couple games, he's been, balling. Even though he's only 6'7", smaller in terms of, the power forwards and centers and all this stuff. But he's a guy that's smooth. He can score from all 3 levels. It can help some of the scoring from Luka and Kyrie, a bigger wing. Defensively, he's not bad either. I love this for Dallas. Paired with the other trade that we're going to talk about in a second as well. They give up Grant Williams. So Grant Williams does not last long in Dallas, even though I honestly thought Grant Williams was going to be a big part of the Mavericks. But, he started off well, and then he just kind of is falling down. Seth Curry hasn't even really played. Seth Curry gets to go back home to Charlotte. And then a 2028 first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, which is like, at that point, 4 years from now. Who knows? Luka's going to still be here. Who knows? But yeah, I really like this for Dallas. And then they also make another move that I think probably has been officially announced yet. I know they're awaiting for other stuff. But they also get Daniel Gafford from the Washington Wizards. They get Daniel Gafford in exchange for Rashawn Holmes and a 2028 first-round swap that they made with OKC Thunder, which is why it was taking so long to get finalized, because the Mavericks are trying to get an extra picks to flip them to Washington. And so they swapped a first-round pick for OKC, and then that pick is going to Washington. So Daniel Gafford has been having a really good season for the Washington Wizards. I really like Daniel Gafford as a big man. He's averaging 11 points, 8 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks per game, 69% for the field. He just knows his role as a big. Big that's going to block shots, rebound, dunk. That's what he does, and he does it really well. Probably one of the most underrated big men in the league right now. And him going to Dallas again, they wanted size, coming into the trade deadline and stuff. They don't really have a lot of size. I mean, they got Derek Lively, and then that's it, really. Like, they don't really have a lot of bigger guys. Most of their guys are like 6'7" to 6'5", and they're like good wings, but they're not like 4s and 5s and stuff like that. Even Dwight Powell, who's their backup center, isn't a big center. But Daniel Gafford brings size. He brings athleticism. I can already picture right now that lob with Luka, especially a guy that if Derek Lively isn't playing good because he's a rookie, he's gonna have his up and downs. You could throw Daniel Gafford right in and be like, hey, Daniel Gafford, and basically the same thing. If not even better. So I love this trade for Dallas. Dallas really is a big winner of the trade deadline. I love these trades for them. Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington. That's exactly what they've been looking for, and I'm very excited to see it. Let's get back to the Raptors, because the Raptors, I don't really know what Masai Ujiri's doing. I'm going to be honest. I really don't know. They make the trade earlier, giving up Kelly Olynyk, or getting Kelly Olynyk and giving up a first-round pick. And then they also make another trade later. They sent Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young to the Brooklyn Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie and Dennis Smith Jr. And eventually they're going to waive Spencer Dinwiddie, so he's going to be one of the bigger names on the buyout market as well. But yeah, so the Raptors trading Dennis Schroeder. They get back Spencer Dinwiddie, who they're going to waive. Dennis Smith Jr., who I actually liked in Brooklyn. Defensively, he was lacking in. He's kind of bringing some energy off the bench. I don't think they get any picks in this deal, which is weird. They give up Dennis Schroeder. They give up Thaddeus Young, 2 vets. Dennis Schroeder wasn't really happy anyway, coming back off the bench now for a minute. Quickly, Thaddeus Young. I'm going to be honest, I forgot Thaddeus Young existed in the NBA until last week. I saw him get into a game. I was like, oh my God, Thaddeus Young still is around, But yeah, I just didn't really understand it at first. But they got Spencer Dinwiddie to waive him, So now Spencer Dinwiddie's going to be on the market, which that's going to be good, even though Spencer Dinwiddie is not having a good year. But yeah, this trade was kind of nothing. Spencer Dinwiddie for Dennis Schroeder. This trade for the Nets, why they would do it too. Why would the Nets want Dennis Schroeder? I don't know. They gave him a starting opportunity, I guess. Maybe they're going to buy him out too, and I don't know. The Raptors and Nets both kind of confused me at this trade deadline. But yeah, that happened. There was a 3-team trade. I think this is the only 3-team trade to happen between the Nets, the Suns, and the Memphis Grizzlies. Basically, what I got is, and I can look and see if that was the full trade. Basically, the Suns are getting Royce O'Neal and David Roddy from the Memphis Grizzlies. The Nets are getting Keita Bates-Diop from the Suns, Jordan Goodwin from the Suns, and 3 second-round picks. And the Memphis Grizzlies are getting a pick swap from Phoenix. They're getting Yuta Watanabe, and they're getting Chimezie Metu. I think that's the full trade. So Royce O'Neal goes to Phoenix. Miles Bridges was a guy that was really heavily linked to Phoenix, but it came out early that Miles Bridges was going to veto any trade. He did not want to leave Charlotte, and so that kind of took him off the board. So the next best thing for Phoenix was Royce O'Neal, who I think is a really good role player. Currently he's averaging 7, 4, and 2, shooting 36% from 3. He's a guy that played in Utah for a while, been in playoff scenarios. A really solid role player. Again, really solid role player. shoots threes, defends pretty well, can handle the ball a little bit here and there too. Very solid role player that the Suns need because they weren't really getting it out of the role players I thought they were going to be getting out of. And the Suns give up all those guys that they actually signed this offseason and just like, you know what, we don't really need them. And they also open up 2 spots now for the potential buyout market, which we're also going to get into because that's a big thing too. So the Suns are going to be able to have some flexibility in terms of getting the buyout market. They get Royce O'Neal, a solid role player, and David Roddy as well, who is young. I like David Roddy. I think he'd be a pretty decent player, PJ Tucker type mold. So maybe he can go to Phoenix and contribute to a winning team right there. For the Nets, they don't really get a whole lot of value in terms of player, but I mean, what are you going to give up for Royce O'Neal? You're not going to be able to get a young player for him. But they get 3 second-round picks. You know, why not get some more picks in Memphis again? Just getting a pick swap for Phoenix. We Watanabe and Metu, who can go right off the books next year. Again, more cap flexibility for Memphis. So yeah, this is a solid trade. I mean, Phoenix gets some players to acquire for a run later, and they also get to open up some spots for the buyout market. Let's get into the real news of the day. Killian Hayes is no longer a Detroit Piston. He's no longer a Detroit Piston, and to all the Pistons fans out there, this is for you. Piston fans, Killian Hayes is off your team, and he is a free agent now. Yeah, but being in all seriousness, Killian Hayes is not a member of the Pistons anymore. He has been released. So far, he was a number 7 overall pick just a few years ago, 2020, out of France. High expectations. A lot of people I know, a lot of people they thought Killian Hayes was going to be great. Yeah, they were wrong. Look at his career averages: 8 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, 38% from the field, 27% from 3. This year he was averaging 7 points, 5 assists, lost his spot in the rotation. There talks about, okay, they want to get him off the team, trade potentially, but they eventually had to end up releasing him. So unfortunately they don't get anything back for their top 10 pick just not that long ago. And now, where is he going to go? I've seen some things. The Grizzlies, they're a team that are interested in the past couple of days because the Grizzlies are a team that they need players. They just need people. So, Killian Hayes, San Antonio has been a team that's been sought, which I wouldn't mind. He gets to go with Coach Pop. You know how they like developing, the international players. They need point guard play as well. So maybe he can go there with Wemby. Maybe revive his career a little bit. But yeah, it just sucks, man, honestly. Like, he was such really high talent, really highly touted coming out of the EuroLeague and all this stuff. And he had the injury in his rookie year that kind of derailed him as well. Then the Pistons got Kate Cunningham. Then they got Jay Ivey. So it's kind of like he just never really found himself. When he did get his opportunity, he just didn't really make most of it, which sucks. But I'm hoping the best. Maybe if it is signed to another team, maybe if it is going overseas, going back over there, the Dante Exum route, where he goes overseas, has a couple good years, and he comes back, because he's still only 22 years old. He's still so young, so he still has a lot of opportunity left. Maybe he does do the overseas route, comes back, or maybe he does get picked up by not Phoenix, San Antonio or somebody, and then, he gets a little bit more confidence and better play and stuff like that over there. Hopefully, but yeah, maybe, we'll see what happens with Killian, but I hope the best for him, obviously. And if you're watching this on Right Now Live, or if we're watching this, later on YouTube, we're going to be streaming a lot more. Basketball, maybe even non-basketball, who knows. But yeah, I'm going to get into streaming a lot more. I think it's going to be really fun. We could do some watch-alongs, potentially talk about some big things going on in basketball, just chill, hang. I'm very excited for it. Very excited for this next journey, this next part. I'm very excited for that. And, yeah. So that's going to be pretty much it for today. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this now, you watch this later on YouTube and all this stuff. No matter what, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it a whole lot for the support, all that stuff like that. And let's get one just little bomb. So why not? Why not? But yeah, it's going to be for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really helps a lot. Links in the description down below. And yeah, thank you guys for coming along and hearing me talk for an hour. Dang, it's been an hour. thanks for coming out and hearing me just talk for an hour. My throat is so dry right now. I'm gonna be taking this down, and as soon as I turn this off the stream. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching. Let's turn up a little bit. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming. I'll see you guys tomorrow.